I'm your host, Logan23. You're joining me for Titanic, Episode 3. Charlie Stoke is gone. The kind young steward led me to my sister, kissed me on the cheek, and then left me, shocked, in front of my cabin. My mind is racing as I reach out to turn the knob, and watch the door open on its own. Standing there is his elegant form blocking the entrance to my cabin, is Matteo Vasari. It's been over a month since I last saw him. James's valet, the sharp-tongued man who promised me freedom on behalf of his master. Matteo's gaze follows the direction of Charlie's fading footsteps, and I realize he must have been listening to us. Already befriended a ship's steward. You work quickly. Someone's jealous. Don't you dare drag him into this. He isn't involved, and there's no reason to change that. Oh, trust me, Adele. His imitation of Charlie's rough Yorkshire accent is deliberately mocking. But I can't prevent my lips from twitching with amusement. Come now, Adele. You can do much better than that stuffed shirt. Smiles lightly and steps aside to let me into my room. Did you know about the blackmail? The day you came to my jail cell with your mouth full of your master's promises. Of course I did. You know I did, Adele. I turn and begin to unpack my bags just for something to do with my hands. They're trembling slightly from fear, anger, I have no idea. No doubt you believe I should find a more honorable employer. But they're all like that, you realize. He's no worse than any other rogue of his social class. And no better either. Then you're in the clear. You're merely working for an average villain. I know you don't want to hear this, Adele, but James does keep his promises. You'll walk away a rich woman. Oh, he's made that clear, and all I need to do is break his Aunt Zetta's engagement, yes? Work as a secretary so I can destroy her. People like us don't win by fighting people like him head on. We have to be cautious, cunning. We have to steal our victories. He begins to say something more, but seems to reconsider his tone. Becomes not kinder, but steadier. Listen to me, Adele. I am not your enemy. Will you help me, then? Then be my friend, Matteo. I need one now more than ever. Talk some sense into James. Convince him to abandon this plan. You want my help? Then keep to your bargain, Adele. We both serve the same master. He pauses suddenly to lift his sleeve and glance at a bracelet. No, it's a wristwatch, of all things. He catches me staring at the contraption and says, with an affected shrug, a gift from my grandfather. Nothing of note. But the wristwatches are far from common, and the way he carefully covers the timepiece makes it clear how special it is to him. Now, come. We're nearly late to meet Zetta. Secretarial work awaits you. Matteo sets a brisk pace to my new employer's stateroom. He orders the steward waiting at the elevators to carry to us to B-deck. This is Miss Serda's secretary. Let her through to first class whenever she asks. The boy nearly dislodges his head with nodding before turning to the lift's controls. I try to control or picture Charlie with his curious mix of confidence and humility, acting so meek, but I can't quite picture it. Are you at all nervous about working for a famous actress? She's not a goddess. I've never been one for worship. When fame doesn't grant a person worth or my interest. I might keep that to myself were I were you. It would be a shame if Zetta left you in France. I search his eyes for a hint of humor and find none. She could throw me off the ship. Of course. James's involvement aside, it's her purse that paid your ticket. But we're only a few hours out of Cherbourg, and then we should do all we can in this time to keep Zetta happy and unsuspecting. Would you teach me how? You're charming when you need to be, just like your master. What do you suggest? If I feel a shiver of fear at the very thought of you applying charm, Adele, but his expression softens a little bit. It certainly can hurt our cause if you mind your tongue a little. The elevator door opens to B-deck, and I nearly gasp at the magnificence. White arcade door, floors covered with lush rugs, wood panels gleaming with polish, potted plants, dotted here and there, all perfectly pristine. I shudder to think all the polishing and watering and waxing this beauty requires. We're here, Adele. If you're unsure of what to say, just look at me. I'll help as best as I can. It's in my own interest after all. Zetta's no fool, and her secrets are well guarded. You'll need to earn her trust if you want to find her weakness. I say nothing. Deception has little place in my life before I met James Isler. Now it's a necessity. A young maid opens the door before Matteo can knock. She scowls at me and turns to him. This is she. I think your master makes a mistake with this one, but alas, it is only I, Sabine, and it is my fate to be ignored. She speaks with a lifted French accent that does nothing to soften her look of cold disapproval. Matteo simply rolls his eyes. Madame, they are here. Hide behind a smile, stand proud, pray for survival. Hide behind a smile. I've dealt with countless unpleasant employers. Smiling when I would rather rage, I try to look agreeable. Sabine guides me inside with ill grace. Matteo takes up his position near James, and then I see her. Miss Zetta Serda, arrayed in an armchair, a cocker spaniel at her feet. The breath catches in my throat. I shouldn't have trusted James' description. She isn't old at all. She's magnificent, jeweled, and made up like a queen. So this is the girl you picked out, James. Doesn't look like much. It's shocking to hear an American accent out of the perfectly shaped mouth. I feel as though she should be speaking something beyond the reach of a mortal tongue. I recall my earlier words, never been one for worship indeed. Yes, Aunt, this is Miss Adele Karim. I glance around at the others, Matteo wary, Sabine suspicious, and James trying his damnedest to appear relaxed. So then, it is to be a trial. You are a foreigner. I'm English now. I've lived in London since I was a little girl. It's my home. Was my home. You expect people to believe you're English. You could get away with Italian, maybe. She gestures to Matteo's direction to prove her point. I suppose he flinches managingly, yet her next words are softer and seem to soothe him. No sense pretending things are different than they are. No one else will. She looks into the distance for a moment, her bracelets clinking on her finely turned wrist. Lives, loves, the past, they're worthless. Throw it all away, remake yourself. The America's dream, right there. And if you can't sell the lie, sell the truth. She laughs to herself, a sound both throaty and musical. Then her smile is gone. Some girls would do anything to have this position. Why give it to you? You need someone tough. I'm here because I'm a fan. You need someone tough. Because I came from nothing, and I'll do anything to avoid going back. So you're desperate. That's a fine quality in a coal miner, so less so in a secretary. Zetta crosses her legs, a slow, practiced movement that calls attention to the curve of her ankles and the grace of her limbs. We'll have to do something about those clothes. No, Sabine? Certainly, madame. I could not bear to look at it, the size, the stitching. I am overcome. I'd appreciate your help. You're dressed beautifully, madame. Perhaps you could advise me on how to improve. I see Matteo giving me a look of approval, but Zetta breaks into a throaty laugh. I've had boots licked by the best in the business. Trust me, kid. You don't come close, so give it up. At least you won't be hard to pick out of a crowd. Not in first class, anyway. She speaks about me like a piece of machinery that needs painting. It's all I can do to keep my rage from showing. I don't beat around the bush, honey. I see things how I see them, and you'll just have to get yourself used to it, if you want the job. As if to prove her point, she rests her hand on her chin and regards me evenly. Are you my nephew's latest mistress? No. Of course not. I'm your secretary. My cheeks flush with embarrassment at the suggestion. James's glance darts away from me. Zetta looks between us and barks aloud. So naughty, attempting to hide this from your dear aunt. Did you think I would give you a scolding? James's lips pale and his entire expression tightens. You don't really think I would lower myself with this gutter rat? I hold back were unwise words, as though I'd lower myself with you. Really, James, there's no cause for shouting. You'll upset Mimi. She points to the Cocker Spaniel lying at their feet, dozing happily within sight of a lamb bone. Sabine, a glass of sherry. My throat is... Maid has the sherry poured and served on a silver platter before Zetta finishes her sentence. Zetta smiles at her, slow and sultry, and even though my humiliation, I see my people would pay hard-earned money to see her in a film. Sabine, you know me better than I know myself. She tosses back the sherry with a quick swallow and lets Mimi lick the glass clean before looking back at me. Tell me, Adele, while my nephew recalls his manners, where did James find you? Because it was in the gutter. I'm sure of that much. We met at church. I doubt he's ever gone to church. At secretarial school. In a jail cell. If you're gonna sell it. He came to my school looking for a secretary for his aunt. The headmistress recommended me. Really? James is in no position to disagree, only just managed choking out a response. Yes, aunt. Zetta turns back to me, an amused expression on her face. Well, at least you've bothered to invent the right qualifications. Sabine breaks the tension by approaching with a pad of paper and a fountain pen on a tray. Madame, you wish to send a marconiogram to your fiancé in New York? Did I? Oh, oui, madame. He has already sent 3 messages today. Zetta fiddles with the jewels of her necklace and pouts. Childish gestures for anyone else, but they're somehow playfully attractive from her. Oh, the new wireless technology, even with a postman in sight. I can't have peace. He's haunting me from across the Atlantic, Sabine. Congratulations on your engagement. It's true love. He must be worried. He knows there are temptations aboard the ship. He wants to keep you near, however he can. That might be touching, but he's got nothing to be concerned about. His name's Richard King, a director, brilliant man, putting together a new film for me this summer. She claps her hands together loudly enough to rouse Mimi, who barks at me once as a matter of course before curling back up to sleep. I have an idea, Secretary. You will compose my telegrams. You're clearly capable of crafting a helpful lie. Zetta glances towards Matteo, who considers for a moment, then shrugs. The notes are short. He likely wouldn't notice the difference. All right, compose me a marconiogram. 10 words or less. Richard is young, romantic. Make it about him. I hope only that you are well. Ever yours, Zetta. Not exactly poetry, but it'll do. Very well. Send on your way back to your room. Oh, the purser's office. Send his replies to your cabin. You'll correspond with Richard for the duration of the voyage. Don't jinx it. I'm pretty keen on marrying this fella. Zetta hands me the pad and I scribble down the message in my looping hand. She tears off the paper and hands it back. I'm serious, kid. Matteo, take her to the purser's office after this. Make sure she knows what she's doing. Of course, Ada. I should be delighted. You'll be doing more than sending telegrams, you know. Does that mean she has the job? She lets out a bark of a laugh, but the sly smile afterwards has a touch of genuine warmth. She said she'll do anything. Desperation is an ugly dress, but it has its uses. James colors up and takes his aunt's hand in gratitude. I'm so glad, Auntie. I think you two will suit... Shut up, darling. Adele, I have a birthday party on Sunday night. I want you to organize it, the decorations, the food, the guest list. Sabine, help, won't you, honey? Of course, madame. And I want you to attend me at the dinner tomorrow night. Till then, get out. Thank you. I will not fail. A secretary at dinner? I will not fail. You won't regret this, madame. No, I won't. You'll make sure of that. For a moment, I just look at James and Matteo. Do they really expect me to befriend this woman and then betray her? She's going to eat me alive. Mateo takes me to the first-class pursuer's office on C-deck. At the landing of the grand staircase, the extravagant heart of the first class, I linger on the stairs, resisting the urge to rub my fingers along the gilded edge railing. Sunlight pours through the glass dome above me, making everything glow gold. And when I come back to myself, I see Mateo give me a wry smile. I must look like a yokel staring at the fine things. The Marconiogram is an opportunity, you know. You could try and tease some useful information out of the fiancé. In 10 words or less. It's like Twitter, but before Twitter was the thing. With the chance to learn something about their relationship or more, James would happily pay for a few more words. I'll ask for a secret. How's this? I yearn to know you wholly. Tell me something true. You're Zetta. Oh, something went direct, but, well, Zetta is direct. That's one word for it. We walk up to the inquiry window and request a form to send to the Marconiogram. Besides me, people request tickets to the Turkish baths, squash courts, others hire motor cars for the duration of our stop at the Cherbourg. Make sure you send any replies directly to Miss Karam. He slides a few coins over the desk, as well as a slip of paper with my cabin number, and receives a nod in return. The purser's assistant takes my form and sends it to the Marconi room on the boat deck via pneumatic tube. It's a modern marvel, but the people around me don't even notice. I hope I never become so used to these wonders. Back in the elevator, Mateo pauses. Though his expression is cool, I can hear the eagerness in his voice. We have little time before we arrive at Cherbourg. You've seen very little of the ship so far, or at least very little of our class. Interested in a tour? A tour of first class and its luxuries? I'm done with first class. I'm certain I'll witness more wealth and excess than I could ever have dreamed of on this voyage. I see little need to seek it out. He pulls up his shoulders for a moment. I think he's offended, but then he chuckles. I should have expected that answer. I'll see you back to your cabin, as you prefer. I walk back to the second class, silent, the corridor stretching endlessly. I feel seasick as I go back over my encounter with Zetta. James wants you to find some way to break the engagement before Zetta's birthday party. That's 4 days away. I half suspected it already, but hearing Mateo say it is all too real. I think James wants to make Zetta a present of his betrayal. He can be dramatic in his way. Adele, do you have a plan? Well, what would you do? You're the expert on schemes and plots. What would you do? Mateo looks pleased to be asked. Even if my question was a little sharp, he considers for a moment, barely paused in his stride. There's a missing year in Zetta's career. She was only 17, just starting out. It could be nothing, but that's where I'd start if I were you, in 1891. Mateo and I part ways at the turn from my room, and then I am left alone with my thoughts. I'm back in my own cabin when there's a knock at the door. I open reluctantly and still rattled by Zetta's interrogation. I'm surprised to see Charlie standing outside my door. He starts to smile and then covers it with a cough. Miss Karim. His formal tone takes me by surprise until I see he's not alone. This is your cabin mate, just come aboard at Cherbourg. Oh, this is much nicer than I expected. The woman is perfectly dressed, a little younger than I, and traveling with an incredible number of trunks and suitcases. While she peers curiously into every nook and crevice, Charlie leans a little closer and whispers, It's good to see you again, Adele. Charlie throws me a wink and then departs as fast as he can once the new arrival starts flinging her belongings over the bed. Silk, lace, dog-eared fashion, magazines, postcards, posters, wrapped in tissue. Oh, I forgot to... I'm Lena, of course. We'll be great friends, I'm sure. Nice to see a smiling face. She shook her hand cautiously, trying to hide the disappointment. Nice to see a smiling face. I can't help smiling back at her enthusiasm. Lena seems a little foolish, but I don't have enough friends to turn anyone down. I'm Adele. Oh, yes. I looked you up on the list. I was curious about you. I hope you don't mind. Karim is not a name you hear every day, at least not where I'm from. And where are you from? And where's that exactly? Well, nowhere good. I make it a policy to look back. Better you ask where I'm going. Pauses, waiting till I raise my eyebrows in a gesture to continue. I've come from Paris. I'm headed to New York. Who knows where I'll go after? She chatters away as she puts posters up on the blank wall. There are recent films, theater shows, some hand-painted, others drawn. Listen with a half ear, commenting now and then when a response is required. It's soothing, and I feel some of the tightness in my shoulders ease. Wait, who's that? I point to a young woman in a poster swathed in silk and a crown in her hair, but I know the answer before Lena says it. That's Zetta Serda. She's here on the Titanic. She's my idol. I love her films. Love them. I can feel my heart pound with anticipation. Could Lena help me find out Zetta's secrets? I hear she's marrying Richard King. Part of her making a comeback, right? Marrying a director like that. Me, though, I prefer an older man. He's my employer. What comeback? I don't know. Zetta had retired from motion pictures. Oh, she didn't retire, exactly. She got older, and her roles dried up. Damn shame. She's really one of the greats. And marrying Richard King. Oh, it'll put her career right back on track. It's a clever move. So you think they're in love? Love. Love doesn't last. But a good business decision, that's forever. You certainly seem to know a lot about her. I try to sound as casual as I ask. I heard she had disappeared for a year, early on in her career. It's true, since you're so interested. Lena rummages through the last of her knickknacks and pulls out a newspaper clipping, smoothing away imaginary creases. I lean over to look. That sketch, that's Zetta, a co-star, and Zetta's manager in the background, I think. And that is the show from in Austria, her first starring role. Right after the show, Zetta disappeared for almost a year. Nobody really knows why, but when she turned up again, it was in America. It wasn't long before she started film. I'm gonna go and assume she was pregnant. When was that? The year Zetta went away. Oh, 91, I think. The breath catches in my throat. That's the year Matteo mentioned, the missing year from Zetta's biography. I take the clipping of Zetta's from Lena's hands and with infinite care, searching for the sketch for answers. But then I look up. I'm smiling, more relaxed than I have been all day. I have my first clue. I knew you'd like that one. Lena goes back to unpacking while I try to sort through my tumbling thoughts. But the person they keep returning to is Zetta, Charlie, Matteo, my sister. Helene will be settled in with her own cabinet mates by now. I hope they're good people. I fear that my hope, it's out the foolish. When I sleep, I dream of London, but the skyline turns slowly strange. I'm on the Titanic, and it is taking me half a world away. Well, I thank you all for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Head down in the description below, links to social media, Discord, and a few links to support me and my content. Long story short, before we dive into the next video here in a minute, is it seems like Matteo, I noticed they move the lips and whatnot. He always seems to speak briskly and very fast, or at least that's the way his lips don't move much. Which kind of off-puts it. Everyone else seems to like be kind of like moving at a decent pace. He always seems very quick and very fast-paced with his lips. I don't know. But without further ado, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.